working or not. So just confirm if you can see me or hear me.
Hi, Vinesh. I can see you.
Yeah, okay, that's good. So yeah, let's start the conversation. As I see a few people from the last event joined as well. We have Elaine, we have Prakash. Hi, Elaine and Prakash. We have Anuradha. We have Hugh. Hey, thanks Hugh for joining. We have Dia also, Smita also. Thanks for joining, guys. So yeah, the first 10 minutes, as usual, just like last week, we'll just have a conversation to see, what's happening around. As do you have any activities coming up? Okay, someone is making noise. Yeah. So if you're not talking, you can just mute your voice so that we don't have a disturbance. But like I said last time, please keep your video on if that is okay, so that you're comfortable in talking to people. We see that at least till the foreseeable future, the future of interviews could be online, could be Skype calls. So this is probably the right time where you can, go carefree on that. Doesn't matter how you look. Just get used to the concept of looking into a camera and talking, which is not as easy as it looks. So just get used to that. But otherwise, let's get started. So yeah, question to you guys: how's it been? I mean, I know a few people had updated during our last meetup on Saturday, but to others, what's happening right now?
So I just wanted to add, Vinesh, this is Prakash.
Yep. Hi, Prakash.
Hi guys. Hi. So I did get a interview yesterday.
Oh, that's good.
For interview yesterday, yes, and all of Vancouver. Today I got the time to sort of write a thank you note for them for.
Your voice is not very clear, Prakash.
Can you hear me now? Is that possible?
It's like a robot talking, so it's breaking every now and then.
I think it's the internet. Yeah. Is that good enough? I don't know if.
I don't know. I can't make half of what's happening. I don't know about the rest.
Okay. Maybe I'll wait for some time and then see.
Yeah, sure. In the meantime, anyone else, if they have something to share, please go ahead. You all don't have to be on mute. For the next 10 minutes, it's your opportunity to talk. I'll just stand here and stare and ask questions. You won't hear anything much from me. So please go ahead and share what's happening.
How's the sound now?
It's still not great, Prakash.
Not so good.
Hi guys, it's Vinay. So yeah, there is a lot of things going outside, but I'm currently focusing on making my inwards more better, reading few books of personal development, as well as and sharpening my skills in the areas that I want to grow in or build my career, whether it's learning coding or it's the C#. So just focusing on things that I can do.
That's good. This is probably the right time for you to invest. You have a lot of time and nothing much to do. So this is probably the right time to invest your time in upskilling, whether it's technical aspects of things or whether it's, other stuff that you like to do. So well done, Vinay. Thank you for sharing that. Others? I see a lot of people on mute. Please come up and talk.
Am I audible now?
It looks better. Can you go ahead and talk?
Okay, let's give it a shot. So I was saying that I got a interview yesterday.
Yep.
I wrote a thank you note for them. They came back to me saying now, unfortunately, he's on hold. That's the latest development.
So So you had an interview yesterday, and now they've updated that role is on
Yeah,
hold right now.
it's on hold.
Okay.
Until maybe 1 or 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mixed
Yeah, good that
thing
you at
going
least
on.
had an interview. It's good that at least you got an interview. I'm
Yeah.
sure most of them are struggling to even get an interview. So at least you got that good. It's put on hold. That's not in your control. So yeah, but there's nothing you can do about that. Anyone else?
Yeah, Vinesh, I'm Smita here, Suchi here.
Hi.
So
Hi.
I'm
Hi, Sudha.
actually doing it from Brisbane, I mean, Gold Coast, in fact. Yeah, so today I tried
Welcome.
contacting a recruiter, and then she said
Mm-hmm.
they've totally stopped recruiting because companies have stopped recruiting. So I work in
Okay.
I'm from the civil background, so
Uh-huh.
yeah, so really
Yeah.
very uncertain. So
Yeah. It is indeed uncertain times. There is a lot of slowing down. So I think we have a couple of recruiters today, so they can also share a few insights on what is happening on different industries. We'll get to that later, but at the moment, the way it looks like it is definitely slowing down. Many industries are even shutting down, but there is still hope. I shared a post today on LinkedIn. A couple of guys actually started working yesterday,
I did see
so
that.
there is positive things that are happening, but in general, I would recommend everyone to be prepared for the worst. People are losing jobs, the economy is going down. So the best thing right now is you're healthy and you're safe and sitting at home. That's the best thing that's happening right now. So okay, so that's probably the okay. There's an emergency somewhere. Yeah, so
Hello.
that's probably the
Yeah,
best thing
can I
that's
say
happening right
something?
now. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Elaine.
Hi everyone. My name's Elaine. I have been attending the first section, and this is my second section. Then I feel like it's very useful. Like everybody can talk their situation and to understand the whole picture. That's why maybe just continue do this, and everybody can be beneficial. So I have the question. So when you guys like seek the job, it's like the recruiter reach out to you, or you actually actively reach out to the recruiter, but you don't know, maybe there's opportunity, you just ask. So what's the approach, like generally speaking?
Is your question specifically during this time or in general?
During this time.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead. That question is open to all. So how do you, I mean, it's obvious that there's not much activity going on right now, but whatever
That's
you're
the
trying to
reason.
do recruiters call you or do you approach recruiters? What's happening
Most
right
of
now?
the time.
Yeah. So
Because
what's
I
happening right now?
saw,
That's a question for you
yeah,
all.
because I saw the LinkedIn posting this morning. You said there are two person actually got the job. So I'm thinking there's still opportunities, but how's the approach looks like?
Yeah. So yeah, anyone wants to share any insights on that?
I think it's always been you approach the recruiters on the first hand, because I think a lot of recruiters believe that someone who takes that extra thing to reach out to them are much more proactive than others. So I think
All right.
reaching out to them on first hand is the best thing. But there are also recruiters who reach out to you on having openings that is quite related to your field. But I think it's much advisable that you reach out to the recruiters in the particular field that you're looking out for. That's been
Hey,
my
Anuradha.
experience.
Hey, Anuradha. Vandana here.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. Hi. Thanks for sharing that. But one question actually, how can we reach out to recruiters? Because I have seen few job postings on LinkedIn where they won't be posting the recruiters or the contact details. So, like, is there any other way we can reach out to recruiters?
See, this is what I've learned. I'm sharing whatever I've learned.
Yeah, yeah.
When you are connecting with lot of people who are potentially no sound enough to have a lot of recruiters as part of their network, they kind of tend to like or share the no opportunities that come along. So when you kind of get to know those kind of opportunities being liked or shared, reach out to them instantly.
Okay.
So might or might not work for
Oh.
you, but still you could always reach out to them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a nice
Hey,
one actually. Thank you. Okay. Okay.
So,
Yeah, I
going,
understand.
everyone?
Thank you so much.
Hugh, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So, hey, everyone, how's it going? So, yeah, obviously, my name's Hugh. I work in IT recruitment for a company called People Bank. And look, obviously, as we're all acknowledging, the pretty strange and unprecedented times. I'm personally getting used to my home office setup, as I'm sure a lot of you are as well, and spending more time at home, especially. Now, look, I suppose in terms of reaching out at these times, I agree that the best approach, be as proactive as you can about getting in touch with recruiters. Now, what I would do is identify sort of key agencies that are relevant to your field. So, obviously agencies tend to specialize in certain areas. So, obviously someone's saying they're in civil engineering, or there's going to be certain recruitment companies that look after those areas, as well as then IT recruitment companies. Now, I'd say that I can only talk for, I suppose, my office, but what we're experiencing at the moment is we have a much lower workload in terms of the number of roles we've got on, and so we're actively trying to reach out and have discussions with any candidates out there in the market.
I think for that reason, people are making the time to have proper conversations. They do reach out and say, introduce yourself, describe the roles you're sort of looking for, and just try and build those meaningful connections and relationships with those key recruiters in this time, because that's about as much as you can do it. Give yourself the best chance when things pick up. And I suppose, Elaine, to speak to your, you're saying you've seen that some people have successfully got roles. And someone earlier mentioned that they had a second interview or had an interview for a role that was then put on hold. What I'm finding in our experience is that clients, for the most part, are trying to honour the processes they'd already started. So if they'd confirmed that they'd have an interview with you, they'd still have that interview, even though they might have to put the role on hold afterwards. Or similarly, if they're at the point of offering, where possible, they will bring you on board. So there are still roles, and I would say look out for sort of key employers. And the best way to do this is keep an eye on the news, probably, but they're still going on hiring. Telstra is one example in the sort of big published section, but I mean, I'm sure there's other ones, essential services like government that are doing recruiting still, because they're going to see their workload increases in this sort of time.
Hi, Hug. This is Rajiv here.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you for giving your information. Anyway, look, I have a very straightforward questions. So suppose you are hiring few people, and then you have an application about more than 20 people. So you know that a lot of people are migrate from different country, and then who does not hold any kind of permanent residency and then citizenship. But they have a qualification, and they can assure you they will get a permanent residency within a few years, like couple of years or 1 year. So what I face is a lot of recruiter directly, without any mail, without any message, they have different kind of like auto rejection, something like that. So they directly reject us. So what I think, why not, like a lot of recruiters, if you guys give us only about 5 or 10 minutes in your phone or in your spare time, like you applied for this job, I got your application, can you please tell me about what kind of experience you have? Okay, you don't select us because we didn't have any kind of permanent residency, citizenship. We are absolutely okay about that. But your call may give us a confidence. Like it might give us a confidence, and then we can, like start to search more job. And then if we get about 10 or 15 calls within a 3 or 4 months, it will increase, it will boost our confidence. So even I didn't got that kind of calls. So that's how I'm thinking like that, because if at least a call in a month. in my personal view, in my personal view, if someone call me at least a month for, hey Rajiv, what kind of job you are looking for, and then what is your experience, it will increase my confidence. Definitely, it will gonna increase my confidence.
Thanks for the question, Ravi. Do you want to answer that question, Hugh, or shall I go ahead and answer?
I don't want to hog the floor too much. So look, I'll just speak quickly. I know that it's really tough reducing those populations, and that I'm sure everyone in this group knows better than I do. Because obviously I'm Australian, I've started work here. How hard that first step is. What I would I suppose, encourage you is, a good recruiter should be following up. But, where you get those rejection emails, follow up with a call so you can make that might often have their direct email address or a phone number. Just try and open up the conversations that way, because I know it sometimes just does take you being given that first chance. So follow up whatever way you can. And most of the people on the end of the line are good people. They might just be busy or disorganized for whatever reason. So keep trying and go down different avenues and extend them so that you can follow up.
Yeah. Thanks you for
thanks.
Rajiv. I'll add something to that over there. The problem here is I'm hearing echo from someone, so if someone can mute it, that will be good. I think it's Ajinkya. I'm muting you for a moment. Or I don't know. I'm getting an echo from someone.
I think it's your own voice.
Is it? Okay. Anyway, so what I'd like to someone muted, so that's gone now. So what I'd like to add is you mentioned that it's why can't recruiters give us a call so that it's a confidence boost for us. You have to understand that recruiters have their own jobs. They are
Your voice is breaking, Vinesh.
Vinesh, we can't hear you.
Breaking.
Vinesh?
I can't hear you.
I think you've been muted, Vinesh.
I saw a message popping up. Ajinkya has muted Vinesh.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep. Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so make sure that no one mutes me. Yeah. So coming back to the point, it's about how you get through it, right? When it comes to recruiters, they have their own busy lives, they have their own stuff going, and they have hundreds of messages in the inbox and email. So if you are in a recruiter's shoes, you can't pick up the phone and give a call to everyone. The classic example that I give is, I'm assuming most of them here are from India or wherever you are from. You might get daily 2 or 3 calls. If you're in India, I'm giving a specific example from India, you would get daily 2 or 3 calls asking for personal loans, financial loans, any sort of such loans. What do you do with that call? I'm sure that 90% of those people don't even pick the call, or 10% say hello, and most of them react rudely and just cut the phone. This is a reality. And now you're on that shoes. You're making calls to recruiters. You're giving a cold call to recruiter without much of a context, even though you're looking for a job. So always understand what the recruiter's perspective is. Why are they not giving you a call back, or why are they responding the way they are? They are busy people, so you have to earn that time from them rather than thinking that you are obliged to have that time. So that's one thing that I wanted to add there, Raji. So let's move on. As I promised in the agenda, I'll always pick 2 to 3 questions from the survey that I put in the Meetup app. So today I have 3 questions to respond to. First question is from Shruti. I'm not sure if she's online. She asked, I'm hearing everywhere job market is slow, and as organizations are not hiring, and as they are not making much of a business, how to sail through this? So I've touched on this topic during the last event as well. Yes, it's a fact that recruitment is slowing, business is slowing, hotels are shutting down, cafes are shutting down, everyone is getting impacted. So the first and most important fact for all of you is to accept that things might not work for the next few weeks. Accept the fact that you might not get a job interview, or you might not get a call, or you might not see job ads for the next few weeks. People are even losing jobs. So yesterday, I don't know if I'm not sure. Naishad had done a live video where he shared a fact that a person joined for a job on Monday last week, and he was let go on Wednesday. He worked for 3 days and he was let go already, right? So that's the situation where we are in, and there's a lot of uncertainty around what's going to happen next. So first lesson, accept that we are in an uncertain situation and accept the fact that nothing might happen, and utilize that time for something else. Have goals, have objectives, have targets internally for you to keep yourself engaged. Instead of spending 100% of your time on job search, applying on LinkedIn, applying on Seek, set some targets for you to improve your personal growth, personal development. It could be technical skills. There are a lot of free courses happening out there. It could be a presentation skill. It could be a cooking skills. It could be if you're into singing, if you're an artist, if you're into drawing, go ahead, do that. Invest your time in that and make sure that your morale and your physical, mental health is in good condition. And also make sure that this is the right time to get prepared for when the market is back. You are prepared rather than regretting that you wasted 3 to 4 weeks just binging on Netflix. So that's what I have to say. And this initiative is a part of that, to make sure that everyone sails through this together rather than you getting frustrated and saying, nothing is happening. So let's accept that fact as a beginning. But as you already said, there are recruiters who are still hiring. There are clients who are still hiring. So keep an open door, but just make sure that you set your expectations straight. Next question is from Vinesh Balan. He asks, most of the CVs are having a standard format and style. What is your opinion in having a different structure? Will it help to be noticed by the recruiter? If so, what are your suggestions? So I'll take the suggestion of Hugh on that in a minute, but before that, I'd like to touch a few points. Yes, you're true, and that's what happens when you take a template from one influencer, for example, and copy paste it everywhere. So people ask me for a resume template, and I never give out a resume template. I say, send me your resume, I can review it and give you a comment. The reason is, if every resume looks like the same, and for a recruiter who looks at hundreds of resumes every day, I'm like, oh shit, this is just another resume, right? So it's very important for you that you should have something different. Your individuality should come in your resume. And also make sure that you're targeting the recruiter. Make sure what kind of company or culture you're applying to. For example, there's this recruiter from Just Digital People called James Friday. And a few months back, I had a chat with him. I'm like, what kind of resume do you want to see? And he said, go to Canva, do fancy stuff, bring some colors, bring some drawings and stuff like that. This is the only recruiter, and this is the only recruitment agency who I've ever talked to. I've talked to hundreds of agencies, and this is the only recruiter who mentioned that. So if you are applying to Just Digital People, make sure you are a bit creative and you're a bit attractive. So it also depends on who you're applying to. Otherwise, Hugh, do you have any inputs to add, as in what a resume template should look like, or should everyone have the same format?
Yeah, I think, well, absolutely. The most important bit that you touched on then is it is completely subjective. So look, similarly, when people come to me and say, what's the best format, I can only ever speak for the clients I'm working with. So look, I tend to do sort of more higher level sort of technology roles. So I wouldn't be expecting a Canva resume. But I know, but similarly when my colleagues are working front end roles or they're very design focused, that does help. So again, it's worth having one that you run past colleagues that you think is a good general format, depending on your area. But then again, it's one of those opportunities to make contact with the hiring manager or the recruiter where that is a possibility, to just ask them what their preference is, and then often I'll go back to someone that's applied for the role and say, look, really appreciate your application, but here's what client X is looking for in their resumes or what they want, and give the candidate the chance to sort of go and tailor their resume to that. So where possible, obviously have one resume maybe that's your general go-to, but trying to open a conversation, every possibility to make it specific to the organization or employer that you're applying with.
Thanks, Phil. That was excellent advice. So as you mentioned, having a same format, it's subjective. Every recruiter has a different opinion on what a resume should look like. So you should have a safe resume, I would say. Nothing too fancy, on to point and everything, stuff like that. But when you get a call from recruiters, check on them as in what kind of resumes do recruiters do the client specifically over here like. They would definitely help you on this and to get your resume up to date. Next question is by Malati. She is asking, with the current situation in the market, if I take up any casual jobs or start a small business not related to my current skills, experience as per the CV, will it affect my job search when I resume it once the market is up? How should I present it in my CV or the next interview? Absolutely no, it won't affect your credibility when the market is up. See, everyone is doing something or else right now, and what you're doing right now defines what you have, what character you are of. Say, for example, if you're starting a small business right now, that's a great thing, right? That's a great thing. It not only keeps you engaged, it not only keeps you involved, but any activity that you do right now is upskilling for you. It might not be, so you mentioned that it's not related to your current skills and experience, but trust me, anything that you do will be an add-on to your current skill and experience. For example, if I had a conversation with Elaine yesterday, and she said she's going to do more videos on LinkedIn. People think that that's nothing, that's adding to nothing, but it's adding to your confidence, it's adding to your skills to appear on video, or it's adding to your skills to talk fluently, for example, right? So whatever you do, it will be adding to your set of skills and showing that in a resume. Hey, how did you overcome the situation? That shows your perseverance and the fact that you're not just sitting at home and doing nothing. You are trying to share information. You are trying to help each other. You are trying to build something when there was nothing to do, right? So absolutely go ahead and do it. Don't think of how it's going to impact. It will definitely boost, or if not, it will definitely boost your confidence on that.
Vinesh, I have a question on this. Harish here.
Yep. Hi.
Hi. In fact, not just to you, but it's a question in general to everyone in the group. But even getting a casual job right now, like you might be you might just want to be kind of an admin somewhere, or you might be an office staff kind of role, just to kind of make use of the time and keep your mind and body busy to overcome the stress of job hunting. But are there opportunities for that as well? Do they get advertised? How do we come to know about stuff? I moved here about a fortnight back, unfortunately, just about when the whole thing has spiked up in the last 1 week. So any suggestions on that? Because confined to a room inside the house also makes us a bit, you're not done overall.
Try retail.
Absolutely.
Retail as in try supermarkets and no, that's one thing which is flourishing. Pharmacies, which is flourishing.
Even Telstra is boosting their roles there, because with everyone moving to work from home, Telstra and Optus will have more work there. So they are recruiting.
Yeah, so
but
what
my
I'm
question
seeing
is, sorry, just in response to Prakash and Malti, thanks for your inputs. But two things, like I am from the ICT role, and I have worked as a BA with 14-15 years of experience. So given this background, would they even entertain me for this role? First thing. Second thing is, if they do, where do these jobs get advertised, or how do we come to know about these jobs? Do I have to? I went to Kohl's. I found a list of jobs for the for the departmental store, but I'm not sure how much would they entertain, as I said, because of my previous background, because they know that I'm not going to kind of stick around for a longer time. So can you guide on that?
Probably walk into the store and meet a store manager or something. I don't know, I've not done this,
Yeah.
but this is back of my head. It's just something which comes back of my head.
Currently for Woolworths, that's what they were saying. You just walk up to the local store and speak up.
Thank you. All right.
So
Sorry, sorry. This
there
is Shomi here. I'll just add something. As when I was a student, I've done this walk obstacles and Woolworths, and they usually ask you to apply online. So this might be a good time to look at just registering with Coles and Woolworths, because they are looking for a lot of workers for their stocking and everything. So other than LinkedIn as well, LinkedIn is of course a great place to find job in your roles. But if you're looking for any ad hoc, any other sorts of job, try every other platform, I would say, like Seek. We've got even sometimes Gumtree helps. I've seen. Just try to explore every other option that you've got available to yourself, and don't restrict yourself to just one platform. Go on Indeed, go on Seek, and try resources. Speak to people, but I think walking up to Woolies would not get you a job. Try Bunnings website, register yourself, and see. Just try it out. Keep applying, and keep your mind open. Don't restrict yourself, thinking that because you've come with a background of work, they might not hire you. So keep your mind open, and if you get a call for the job, just show your dedication, that show that you want to work there, you want to get some experience, because wherever you go in Australia, the first thing they ask you is, have you got local experience? And this is where you start collecting your local experiences. You speak to customers, you know how to talk to people in the Australian environment, and how you deal with customers or stakeholders. This will give you understanding of how to deal with stakeholders in this country.
Cool. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ami. That was excellent advice. And just like you mentioned, she mentioned to explore different platforms, be it Seek, there is Indeed, even Gumtree sometimes helps. And I think there's another way
Sorry,
that is to
Seek,
find
Indeed.
people.
What was the third one? Country.
Gumtree.
Sorry, did I mention that? Gumtree.
Gumtree, okay.
Gumtree is not actually a job search platform. It's more of like a OLX kind of thing, if you've heard in India, but there are a lot of jobs advertised there as well. But there is another thing that can be more effective, that is talking to people. Find people. I've connected to tons. Especially in this has worked in the student community, but it's the same is applicable to you as well. So I had a friend who had referred to so many of my connections to get into part-time jobs. So when someone is already working, say, for example, in Bunnings, Woolies, Coles, or any other place, and if they know you and they refer you, you will get higher priority rather than just applying online. So try that as well. I know physical networking is not practical at this time, but you have the world of online social media, be it LinkedIn, Facebook, or whatever it is. So feel free. And this will also help you keep your head straight during this time. As you said, sitting at home and thinking just about job searches can be really hard. How much can you get into part-time jobs is another question. Yes, Coles, Woolworths, and everyone else is ramping up, but there is also a lot of cut downs, as in hotels, cafes. People are getting cut down from those part-time jobs. So there is a possibility that you might not get through. So try your best to get into this part-time jobs, but if not, make sure you have a backup plan. If you're sitting at home, make sure you're doing something, you're upskilling something, you're learning something, you're contributing back on some way or the other. So make sure that you invest your time on that as well. So thanks. That was excellent advice, Naomi, and thanks for the excellent advice, Hugh, as well. We can probably spend a few more minutes hanging around if you would like to share something or ask something, but quick questions, short questions. If you'd like to share something, please go ahead and try that. A few learnings from my last or my first catch-up is, unfortunately, the chat history is not saved over here. So if you want to take a copy of some information that's shared, please go ahead and copy the message from there. I've also recorded this video and I'll put it in YouTube so that you have a reference and you can share it to anyone who wants to see it. And as always, this is just my second catch-up. Yes, we had some technical issues. Someone muted me, so that's also an uncertainty that we are facing right now. I have no idea. If my internet goes down, I'm dead right now, right? So we have all such uncertainties to handle. So if you have any comments on how to improve this or how to make this more effective, just let me know, message me. And yeah, um, any questions, any quick questions or any comments or any
Can
feedback?
I?
If
Can
even if
I?
yeah.
Sorry, Vinesh. Can I just want to
Hi
give some
Marcia, how are
advice?
you? You finally
I'm
made
good.
it to
How are
the
you?
online catch up instead of, you never made it to the walk, but you made it to the catch up. So yeah, there you go. That's a win for you.
Yay! Thanks.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to say, look, I speak with a lot of people every day. I talk to a lot of people every day as well. That comes new into Australia and they don't have experience and they're applying for all these jobs. My advice to you guys is when you apply for a job and they get back to you and say you're not successful, ask them why. Why are you not successful? What is it? What is it that you need to do in order to get into the job market? So that way you know what are the steps that you need to take in order to get in. So if you
But do
need
you
to
think they would
update your
respond?
skills,
Do you think they would
well,
respond?
look, when it comes to Seek or LinkedIn, a lot of times there's no contact details, but for when you do apply for jobs on the website or wherever you can find details, save those details and get in contact and let them know, I've applied for this position. Did you receive my resume? Yes, I did. Week later, did you have a look at my resume? What is your feedback? What's your thoughts?
Absolutely. So those of you who don't know Marcia, she works as a business development manager at Industry Connect. So Industry Connect is an organization who, trains you on a lot of technologies. I think they're mostly into IT. So they train you and they help you get into internships, and it's kind of a kick-off start for your career in Australia. So if any of you are interested, get in touch with her to get more info on that. Thanks, Mercy, for sharing that. Absolutely golden
Thanks,
advice.
Vinesh.
Always ask questions. Don't just
Yeah.
sit back and expect a call back from recruiters. That's not going to happen. Don't think others will do the work for you. You need something. You have to go and ask and get it. Don't wait others for to respond to that. Anything else before we wrap up?
I had a question, Vinesh.
Yeah.
Can I say? Yeah. So, as you know, like right now, I shared this with you. Like the part-time job is right now suspended for me, and I'm just like trying to like figure out what to do in the next 2 to 3 months. Uni has been suspended, so I'm like trying to keep myself occupied. That's there, as you mentioned, that try to like educate yourself as much as possible. And I've been also going through LinkedIn, wherein there are like job postings coming up. But thing is, like, I don't think even if they inculcate me into the system, like there has to be an induction that goes through, right, to understand the company portfolio. So will I be like, if I apply, is there a green light that everything will happen in a course of let's say 1 or 2 weeks, or will I have to wait till the economy comes back in place? What do you think?
That absolutely depends on the company, because some clients are still hiring. What feedback I mostly get is the hiring has been slowed down. It's taking longer than usual. Interviews are going online. So these are the common feedback that I get. What happens after 1 to 2 weeks, or will it take longer? No one knows. I was watching the news today morning, and they're all talking about flattening the curve. And the problem with flattening the curve is this pandemic situation could go till December sometime, right? So we actually don't know what's going to happen next. As I said, there is nothing you can do at the moment. All you can do is sit at home and make sure that you are up to date and make sure you are the best version of yourself, right? There is absolutely nothing you can do at the moment. So my strong advice is for you to invest in that rather than thinking and worrying about external factors. It's not in your control. It's not in anyone's control. It's in someone else's control. And that someone else, we can't unfortunately control it right now, right? So make sure that you invest in yourself right now and make sure you stay positive. That's the important learning that I have at the moment.
Thank you.
Yep.
Vinesh,
So
I would
let's
like to
wrap
add
this up.
one
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
Is it okay?
Go ahead, Maldi.
Um, Regarding the learning at this moment of time, I just saw one of my contacts on LinkedIn. His name is Chaitanya. He is doing some kind of online learning, and he has invited friends, contacts to learn along with him. So he is posting what he has learned that day. What are the what are the lessons he is going to do that day. So you can have friends do it together.
Excellent advice. So it's also absolutely necessary that you share all this positivity. Don't keep all that positivity to yourself. When you share, there is something else happening and you feel grateful when you're helping people. So make sure that you do that as well. It could be anything. You learn some skill today. It could be, it could be about how to present, or it could be today. What happened today? You had a conversation and you got a kick on your gut saying that, hey, this is what I have to do, not this. So share this information. We all got together. I think there were 27 people today. We all got together today to share some information to help each other, and hopefully you got some value out of it as well, right? So share this information, make sure that this sharing helps, and there is a different feeling when you share it to the community and help people as well. So just like Malti mentioned, or Chaitanya said, let's do an online group study, and he's sharing and he's helping and he's building something there as well. So all that can keep you involved. There are hundreds of ideas out there. I would love to hear what your ideas, but just keep on doing that. Excellent. Thanks, Maldi, for that input.
I have
next question
something
for you.
to ask.
Yep. Yep.
I know this would sound a bit negative, but given that I don't have an local experience, and with the slowdown and all that stuff, I was considering myself maybe look at the situation till the end of April, and or rather go back to India and come back when the economy is, or the global thing of Corona is kind of settled. So anyone has, I got mixed reactions when I discussed this with my family and friends. So because you guys are out here for a couple of years, so I would just like to know your feedback as well.
First thing is, we don't know if you can go back to India, but even by end of April. That's the situation we are in right now, right? So if that's a plan, yes, go ahead for it. If you think that's the right option, go ahead for it. But otherwise, I'd say stay here. Do whatever you can staying over here, because when you're over here, you know that you have stuff to do. If you go back to India, if you go back to your family, if you start getting back to your work back in India, that will mean that you won't take job search as serious as it was. So for me, irrespective of the situation, yes, we are in a different situation right now. Irrespective of the situation, I always say, if you're planning to migrate, act now, go for it, and then figure out how to do it, right? So if when you go back to India, things will change, you'll sit back, you'll relax, you may come back, you may not come back ever. So that goes into a different situation. I highly recommend to stay here, see what opportunities come up, see what things happen. But again, no one can guarantee what happens. As I said, will you be able to go back in April? That's a different question. We are never sure about what's going to happen now, but have a plan. Don't overthink of what you have to do 2 months down the lane. Think of what you can do in the next week. Do something and see how it goes.
So I just wanted to add something here, Vinesh, and again, answering Harish's question. It's obviously for a new person who has come in, new person who has come in, it's more on the financial part of things as well, which will be a worry, I guess. Which is fully understood. I mean, one thing which the government has also done is they have, with the central link, they have actually increased
Sorry,
payments.
Prakash, your voice is not
The voice
clear,
is not
so
clear.
probably I'll have to cut it.
Okay.
Let's wrap up for today. I've already 10 minutes past. So I usually tag everyone who has been a part of this into my LinkedIn post so that we can connect to each other. That's probably an easier way to connect each other. And I'll probably do this more than once a week. What do you think? Do I have to do this a weekly event or probably more than once a week? What are your thoughts on this?
More
A
than
weekly
once
event would help.
yeah. More than once a week would purely depend upon people's availability, because there are enough number of people who might be already working from home. But if it is more than once a week, actually it helps to connect and keep ourselves engaged to new ideas.
Yeah, true.
Right. Yeah. So let's see. I mean, depending on everyone's availability and how everyone is interested, I'll schedule probably more than 1 week. Maybe one can be on a weekday and one can be on Saturday afternoon, like the last time. And Maldi suggested that is a more preferred time. So let's see how this evolves. And yeah. So thanks for all of you to be for joining into it. I hope this added value. And as I mentioned, spread this positivity. Last time I put out this quote as in, let's spread this positivity faster than faster than the pace of what the virus is doing, so that we can at least make sure that we are doing something for the community. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. All right, see you. Bye, guys.
Hey, Vinesh, is there any other way to